Hi everybody, Ross and my Hammers 11. Hope you're all safe and well. Welcome. Sorry, I've got a little assistant here. Someone did well on the old 20% claret weekend. There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, West Ham. Hope everyone's safe and well. Obviously, thank you to everyone for joining in. As I said, we're raising money for a fantastic cause, the Iron supporting Foodbanks cause. So far, we've made with the Just Giving site, which you can see along the ticker, and through private donations, we've made over £9,000 already, which is absolutely mental. And thank you so much. Obviously, keep donating, please, everybody. The link's on the bottom. Obviously, everyone who goes in and gets enters in for every £10, you get an entry into prize draw. We've got some really cool stuff coming up today. Really fun, but it's all about raising money for a really good cause. At the end of the day, it's a couple of pints of beer, for your bank holiday weekend. You're going to be paid very, very soon as well. And so make sure you all join in. Okay. As I said, we've got some cool stuff coming. We've got a game show in a minute with some of your favourite West Ham YouTubers, as well as we've got a fantastic live guest after that, which is Matty Etherington, who's going to be doing a live episode of My Hammers 11. So anyway, we'll start. We're gonna bring in the guys now. I'm going to bring in them one at a time as they appear on my stream. Mr. Anton, how are we?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Russ, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How's things? How are you? How's your week been so far?
Yeah, a bit busy. Bit like just saying to you beforehand, getting used to working from home and living the life at home and not interacting with any other human except for your family is a bit tough, but it's all fine, mate, and all interesting in the West Ham world as usual.
As usual, indeed. And obviously we got Brentford on Saturday. That'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I watched the bit of the Ipswich game and was really impressed with a couple of the youngsters. To be honest, that was the most exciting part for me, to be honest. And it was good to see some of our players that we're desperate for to do well, like Hilaire score a hat-trick, but also to be mindful of the fact that it is pre-season. Yeah,
no, exactly. Well, you might be lucky enough to have a roving reporter there for the Brentford game. So, I wonder who that may be. All right, let's bring in the others. We've got Ryan from West Ham Fan TV. Yes, Mr. Archer, how are we?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, we're all right. We are all good. Thank you so much for sparing the time to come on.
No, it's mate, very nice. Thank you so much for asking me to come on. I thought I'd start with a little wave that you do, because when we done our interview, that's what you done, wasn't it? Hello.
I'm going to move my silly... You've got a nicer one. You can see my daughter's face properly then. She's been blocked by the snowball. See, I'm not as well off as the West Ham Fan, TV. They got Blue Yetis, the microphones. So.
Mate, I nicked this from Hammers Chat.
And speaking of Hammers Chat, let's bring in Charlie. How are we doing, Charlie?
Getting involved in the waves. How are you? I'm good, thank you. How are you, Russ?
We're very well, thank you. We could almost do YMCA with the four of us. It looks like, or the Brady Bunch, one or the other. But
I'm taking Y. Thank you very much. But yeah, no, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me. I do appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. As I said to everyone, we have got some great stuff coming up in Coon today. We've got the three guys here. We're going to be doing a game show. So we'll see how it goes. For those of you new to the channel, new to the West Ham, or My Hammers 11, basically what I do is interview West Ham fans and ex-players about their favourite, their Hammers 11s. It might be their favourite, their worst, might have a theme, might have, I don't know, kids, youth teams, players or whatever, but it's their 11. And so we've had over 150 guests. So for those of you who know what Pointless is, although half of the people on this screen don't know what Pointless is. Obviously Pointless is a game show, and the idea being is you have to get the most obscure answers. So the whole point here is out of 150 people, we want the guys to get the most obscure answers. So they're going to be picking their 11s, their obscure 11s, and whoever gets the lowest score is the winner, basically. So we've got some lovely slides, obviously. Here we go. Oh, look at this. No expense has been spent. So, West Ham does Pointless. So, as I said, what we'll be doing, we're going through each team as we go through each position. And the whole idea is to basically have a laugh. We've got some obscure players, some players you might never have realised again. And it's all fun and games. So, we'll start in goal. So, as you said, we'll go in order. So, Ryan... who is your selection for your goalkeeper?
I've gone for. It's funny enough. It's a current player.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping I'm going to have a chance tonight, as much as he did. I've gone for David Martin.
Oh, David Martin. Oh, good old Dave. Yes, no, it's we'll see what happens. Oh, it's exciting. Charlie, now Charlie's gone for a slightly different theme as well. Not only is he trying to go for an obscure theme, he's given himself even a tougher job. So, Charlie, do you want to go through your theme?
Yeah, so as I was writing down obscure players, I realised that like we've had a lot of sons of players, but then at the same time we've had a lot of players who have the same surname as players who are much, much better than them, because we always get the worst ones. So what I've done is not only an obscure 11, but also every single player has a surname with a footballer who is much, much better than themselves. So first of all, in goal, I've gone for Stephen Henderson, who is of course much worse than Jordan Henderson.
Oh, I forgot about Stephen Henderson, bless him. Oh dear. So we've got David Martin, Stephen Henderson, Anton. Who have you got for this massive trilogy of West Ham goalkeepers from the
Seems
past?
to be I'm going down the riskier road, the road that maybe it's not going to be pointless. But I'm trying to choose players that I do or did like, even though sometimes they're obscure. So, for example, I'll give you the goalkeeper, which is Bernard Lama. Absolutely. I think it's risky because I think some people may choose him, but the 12 plus games, whatever he played for us, he was immense, and I would love to have him to signed. And he came to us for a reason, and he got that, which was the World Cup.
And you're right, with Bernard Lamar, he always made me laugh because I've mentioned it before, because I always remember my one sort of vision of Bernard Lamar was he would always, I don't think he showered after the game. He literally was in the car in Green Street about a minute after the final whistle. So he was always stuck in that traffic with all and it's like, have a shower, have a cup of tea, take it easy, Bernard. It's not so rushed. What's the problem? But yeah, no, it was funny. Right, okay, so we've got David Martin, we've got Stephen Henderson, Bernard Lamar. The whole idea is to get the lowest possible score. So let's see how everyone started so far. Ooh. So Ryan, you're pointless. It's probably you've probably happened that more often. Stephen Henderson, Charlie's pointless as well. He's probably accepted that. And 2 points of Bernard Lamar. So, but even 2 points is a great score. Out of 150 is the highest possible score. So,
do we have to write our points down?
No, don't worry.
Oh, you got it all done, yeah?
I've done it all for you, Ryan. You just stand there. You three are my eye candy, so you're fine.
I've got pen and paper. I've gone all old school and everything.
God, you've gone right old school. Brilliant. Fantastic. No, it's so far 0-0-2. So let's move on to left back. And obviously, we've always had trouble with fullbacks after the great Julian Dix and Frank Lampard and people like that. So who have we sort of plucked out of obscurity for this one? Who have we got, Ryan?
I've gone for someone that joined us on loan. He actually scored on his debut for West Ham in a 3-3 draw with Sheffield United. I've gone for John Harley.
John Harley, God dear, nice.
And I actually thought he was going to go on to be a really good player for West Ham, but it just didn't work out for him.
I thought he was going to be mustard, weren't he? Because he was a good little player. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah, he was brilliant at Fulham. He was at Fulham, wasn't he? So he was good. I remember the goal he scored on his debut as well was unreal. And it just never worked out for him. But I just thought all these players I've got down are players that I sort of thought were going to do well for West Ham, but they didn't. And I think there's a combined team of about 6 goals in this team. So,
but then that's why we love West Ham. And actually, what's quite funny when you go, as we're going through them all, you forget some of the dross that turned out for us. To be honest, we all have aspirate. Remember, they're great players, but this is what's great to give those players who maybe not were, first on people's team sheets, the chance to shine. So, John Harley, Charlie, who have we got? Can we remember?
Yes, I don't remember him ever playing, but I do remember him. It's the Uruguayan left back Walter Lopez, who, of course, shares a surname with many, many South American footballers. Maxi Lopez is the one I think of, the one who played for Barcelona. Walter Lopez, though, did not play for Barcelona. I can't remember where we bought him from. Can't remember where we sold him to. I'm sure he played games. I did Google it. He did, but God knows when or why. But yeah.
Yeah, he did, and I guarantee in about 2 seconds' time, Kent Hammers will tell us in a minute, so we'll all know soon. Good old Kent Hammers. Okay, and Anton, who have we got left back?
Again, I've gone for a bit of a risky one. He wasn't predominantly a left back, but I think he was a left-footed centre half. So I've just fired him in there because I liked him. His name was Elliot Ward.
No, he's not. No, you got Andy Impey. No, Elliot Ward's later on.
Sorry, Andy Impey. Sorry, I've got the wrong side. Sorry.
God's sake. Anyway, that's a spoiler. That's a spoiler alert. Anyway, so we got John Harley.
Right, I'll tell you about Andy Impey then. He kind of signed at the time when we signed Trevor Sinclair. He had a really good career at QPR, and then after us had a good career with Leicester. He never really hit the ground running with West Ham, but I always just liked him. I just liked what he did at QPR, and I always thought, come on, Andy, do something for West Ham. But one season wonder, and then off he went to Leicester. So yeah, and Andy Impey for me. I know he's not particularly a left back, but
yeah,
he's a
one.
No,
I mean, I'm pretty sure he played left back for us. He definitely played fullback for some time. Right, okay. Yeah. John Harley, Walter Lopez, Andy Impey, three. Well, I would say great left backs, but three left backs. Let's just say that. Let's see how they. All pointless. All three of them were pointless answers. Congratulations. So far we've got Ryan. He's completely pointless. Charlie's completely pointless, and Anton is two, which is great. And as Kent Hammers has said, he played a game in the League Cup alongside Jan Lastuka. Do you remember Jan Lastuka? Who was in goal for us? Anyway, so there we go. So good old Kent Hammers, man. He always comes up chunks for us. Okay, so it's 0-0-2. Let's move to right back. Right, Ryan, who do we have right back, man?
I've gone for, I hope I'm going to say this, Lars Jakobsen.
Yes.
Do you remember him?
Yes.
I think, do you know what? We got him on loan. It was under Abraham Grant. He didn't do too bad for us, but yeah, I've gone for him because I can't see many people picking him in their best or even, well, I suppose he'd be in a lot of worst 11 teams for some people, but he weren't bad. He was all right. I mean, we got him from, he played for Blackburn or something like that, didn't he?
Yeah, so, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I've gone for him. I think he's going to be very pointless.
I never thought about the connotation of calling all these players pointless, but to be honest, it's quite funny. Charlie, who have we got? Who's not so famous surname?
So this one's a little bit of a risk as well, a bit like Anton's. I've gone for Ben Johnson, current right back, of course. Not son of Glenn, but not quite as good as Glenn either. I think that was a bit of a risk just because he's quite good, isn't he? So
Yeah. This, for those of you watching, we put the cut-off point on Sunday. So any Miami's 11s after Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for those of you who don't know the days of the week, of course, won't count. So from just in case there's any discrepancies going on throughout the show. And Anton, who have you got right back? Can we remember?
I can't remember. I don't know if I've.
Don't worry. Abdoulaye Faye. So there we go. Don't worry. So Abdoulaye Faye. What a player he was.
Yeah, again, another one season wonder. I thought he was solid. He was a bit older, but he came in again, done a job under Allardyce and helped West Ham get promoted. And then off he went to, was it Hull City, wasn't it? He went away to Hull after West Ham to progress his career dramatically after that, but he was a bit older. So, yeah.
Right, so we got Jakobsen, we got Johnson, we got Faye. Let's have a look. All pointless. Would you Adam and Eve it? All three pointless right backs for West Ham. Right, centre backs. This is where I think it's going to start hotting up because centre backs, we haven't had quite a few centre backs, but a lot of them come up in conversation with people. Ryan, who we got as your first centre back? Do you remember?
I've gone for a Big Sam masterclass. I've gone for Emmanuel Pogatetz.
Brilliant.
How did we not win the league with this starting lineup that I put out already?
Oh God, Pogatetz. Was he signed for Middlesbrough, weren't it?
Yeah, someone like that. He was terrible.
Did he not smash someone in his first game or something to get the red card? Or his only game?
Something like that. But he wasn't great. It was we brought him in. It was like January time or something like that. He only made about 6 or 7 appearances for us, so it wasn't great. But I thought to myself, the game's pointless. You explained it to me, and I'm trying to get pointless players. So didn't
we sign him from Middlesbrough or someone like that?
Who?
Or did he?
I think so. I remember him playing for Middlesbrough.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And he had a nickname. I think he had a nickname. It wasn't Mad Dog, but he had. I think it was similar to Mad. Again, someone will come
shit.
up. Yeah. Quite possibly. Right. Okay, we'll put Pogatetz in. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Charlie, who have we got in our not so famous as famous names?
I think this one was another Big Sam one, I believe, in the Championship. It's Collins, but Danny Collins.
Collins.
Big Welsh centre-back, not good enough to play for Wales ahead of James, not good enough to play for West Ham ahead of James either.
Didn't he score any debut for us or something like that?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Sure he did or something like that, but yeah, I remember him. Wow.
Stoke. We got him from Stoke, I think.
Yeah. Was he? He was Welsh as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he was ginger as well.
And he was not good. He was not good. He wasn't good for Stoke, and he wasn't good for us.
I love this. All right, okay, Anton, who have we got for your first left back, if you can remember?
Let's see if we've got this in the right order, Russ. Javier Margas.
Yes, well done. Yeah. This, when you go through this rap sheet of signings for West Ham is fucking shocking, isn't it? To be honest.
Listen, when we signed him, I was buzzing because he came off the World Cup with Chile really well, and then he came here and then he got homesick, didn't he? And he jumped out the hotel room.
Yeah, when he the one that jumped out the hotel window and done a runner with his passport. That's a typical Harry Redknapp signing.
He could have easily just gone out the front door.
Yeah.
And it was.
Do you know how he made it up? Do you know how he made it up to the fans? He dyed his hair claret and blue.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. And because he came back because he was just so. And actually, he was my when I was at school, the school I went to. My mate was mum still worked at the school, and she was tasked with looking after his kids because they didn't speak a word of English basically, and neither did he, and they still didn't because he was gone after a little short amount of time, weren't he? But he was good old Margas. Right, okay, and the illustrious three there of Pogatetz, Danny Collins, and Javier Margas. Let's see how many people picked them, shall we? Hey, what a surprise! All pointless. Don't worry, people get points a bit later on, but we're just working through the absolute dross so far. Right, okay, centre back number 2. Now, can we all remember our selections? Go on, Ryan.
Yeah, I went for an Avram Grant special. Tal Ben Haim.
Big.
Oh, mate.
Big fan.
He was. Well, they're all terrible. I've picked. I ain't gonna lie, but he was. I mean, that season for us was just terrible anyway. But when you're bringing in like Tal Ben Haim to play centre back with like Matty Upson, then you just know you're going down. So yeah, he was a terrible signing. I'll be very surprised if anyone's picked him. Yeah. Unless someone's done the worst West Ham 11 of all time.
That's the risk, isn't it? Because some people may well have done it. So that's we'll come to that maybe. We'll see what happens. But right, Tal Bennett, Charlie, who have we got, man?
So I actually thought this player was all right. Not brilliant or anything, but I thought he had a bit of something about him. It was Manuel da Costa. I thought he was okay. You know, he was big. He was a big boy. He was young when he came to us. And then when he left, I felt like he probably had the opportunity to go and do something. He never did, I don't think. I never think he played at some big club or anything. But he was all right. He was decent.
He became famous in the last few weeks, wasn't it? Because he kicked off with Feghouli in the Turkish league.
Yes.
He got sent off via VAR, wasn't he? Because one of them did, and one of them kicked the other one. I think Feghouli got sent off.
I do love when you see two former Hammers going at it somewhere else completely randomly for no reason. You got to appreciate it. You just look at it and you go, God, do you remember Manuel da Costa and Sophie and Feghouli? What time to be alive?
Bless him. I thought Feghouli was a guy who always got a bad rap. I thought he was a good player for us.
I agree.
Yeah, okay. Right, we'll put da Costa, Anton. Who have we got?
The biggest head at the club, Elliot Ward. Yeah, but I liked him. Again, I liked him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was important, but I can't see many people choosing him. But he was an important youth prospect, and I think he's travelled the whole lower leagues, about 20 clubs or something. I think he's got done since he left West Ham.
Yeah, I think he's at Chelmsford City now.
I remember when we played Blackburn away in the FA Cup, and he was playing centre back for Blackburn, and he just had Payet running at him all game, and I felt sorry for him. I was like, "Oh, I'm the same as you. I actually liked Elliot Ward. I thought he was a good defender, and he was an important part of us coming back up.
He was, him and Anton, that middle were formidable, weren't they? Really. Right, okay, Tal Ben High. See, it's getting a bit better, isn't it? Tal Ben High, De Costa and Elliot Ward, a couple of people we thought, we've said, he was all right. Let's see how many people picked them. Oh, Ben High was pointless. De Costa won. I believe the person who picked Manuel De Costa was Julien Faubert.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Oh. Bloody so. Julien Faubert.
Bloody Faubert. I believe it was Julien Faubert. And Elliot Ward was picked as well. So there we go. Fantastic. People watching the channel, don't forget to donate as well. The link's at the bottom. Thought about to do that. Right, okay. Set them back to... So, scores on the doors so far. Ryan is still completely pointless. Charlie has 1 point and Anton has 3 points. So it's still to play for, guys. Still to play for. Keep your comments coming in, guys, as well. Nice to see where everyone's tuning in from tonight or in the morning if you're from Brisbane, like Dave was. Right, okay, let's move on. Let's go into midfield now. We've had some fantastic midfield players, so let's see who we've picked, shall we? Let's start with Ryan. Who have we got playing left midfield?
I think I've got this in the right order. I've gone for someone that when Slaven Bilic signed him, I was quite excited, and I built him up so much. I built him up that much that he was that shit that people used to tweet me. It's Gökhan Tor.
I loved him. Look at Anton laughing. I thought
he set up the first goal at the London Stadium for Antonio when we won.
That was it.
And that was it. And that's what I looked at him and I thought to myself, he's going to be a brilliant player. Because I thought when we was linked with him, I looked at highlights of him at Besiktas and he played under Bilic, and I thought, Bilic would get him here, he'd get him playing well, and he was just poor. He was poor. I think he ended up getting injured and then we just released him. But I still get people tweeting me about it now. It never leaves you when you back these players, see?
Yeah. No, it is true. But I mean, I remember because he was from thank that's probably still in it. He was from Turkey. I used to go to Turkey quite a lot, and he was always, everyone spoke about him so highly. And I was the same as you. I was like, really, the whole YouTube thing, weren't it? And I was like, this guy is solid, and yeah, he just didn't do it, bless him. Right, Torre, okay. Gökhan Torre. Charlie, who have we got?
I like Gökhan Torre. I'll back him. I have Kyle Reid. Not Winston Reid, but Kyle Reid. Here's the thing with Kyle Reid is he was a bit like Josh Cullen is now, where he was in the youth team at quite old and was here forever and just never played that often, ever. Every season, FIFA or whatever would come out and I'd look at the squad and I see Kyle Reid and I'm like, Kyle Reid's still at West Ham. And yet, no, nothing. Kyle Reid.
He was part of that unfortunate group, wasn't he? I think he was around the same time as Stanislas and Hines and him. And again, you look at Stanislas now, and obviously Zavon got injured, and we interviewed him the other day. He'd be up on Saturday. We've got his interview, which is really interesting. And Kyle Reid was the same, wasn't it? They had a few good sort of academy boys coming through. It just never really worked for him, did it? Unfortunately. Wrong time for him, really. It was all about bringing in experienced, overpaid midfielders under the biscuit boys and stuff, weren't it? So, right, Carl Reid's in. Anton, who have we got?
Again, hope I've done this right for you, Russ. But I just want to let people know that I have chose this team based upon people I like. So maybe there's going to be some really random selections, but Stan Lazaridis.
Yeah, I think
But I just don't think many people will choose him. But, I think, was he not signed because Redknapp saw him at
they played a pre-season. Yeah, they played a pre-season in Australia and he ripped the right back and a new one. And so... well,
I remember watching him and he was such a clever footballer and he had this square head, didn't he? Just the most awkward left winger I've seen, but decent.
Yeah, he was decent. And I think also, he was sort of obviously we got Matty coming on a bit later on, and he very much reminded me of Matty, really. Like, you know, or Matty reminded me of him rather. Very similar, obviously similar positions, similar sort of physiques, and they could both bang in a goal occasionally as well. So, all right, so we got Gokantor. It's like the evolution of left midfield, isn't it, for West Ham? You've got Gokantor, you know, Reed, and then Lazaridis, who's like the man walking off. And let's see what we got points wise then.
Oh,
oh,
go back.
Now, and Gokantor, as you said,
you didn't interview his mum, did you?
Yeah, no, as you said, someone might have picked the worst 11, and it was Henry Tomlinson, and he picked the London Stadium Calamity 11.
Yeah,
and Gokantor was in there, so he had 1 point, so he wasn't as point. Carl Reed, unfortunately, was pointless, and Laser only got 1 point. You're right. You know, people might have forgotten about him, Anton, in terms of the, you know, his in terms of obviously impacting playing, because there were so many other left fielders though. You know, he was in between generations, wasn't he? Sort of Matty Etherington was sort of the more modern, and then you had sort of Dev and that lot who were sort of the older generation, and it was a certain group of people would have probably picked Lazaridis, or only one person actually. Right, let's see what we got. Right midfield. So who are we going to have, man? Who are we going to right midfield then, right?
I went for. Funny enough, I went for Andy Impey.
Well, we know he's going to be pointless, so we know he's going to be pointless already, which is fantastic.
I went for Andy Impey. I'm the same. When we signed him, I was quite excited because he was a good player for QPR, but it just didn't work out for him at West Ham. I mean, didn't we have to sell him just to balance the books? And he didn't even know he was being sold, and we got rid of him to Leicester because it was that time where I read that where we never used to spend money and things like that. But yeah, I went for. Andrew Impey.
Andrew Impey,
as he likes to be called now. Can't call him Andy no more for some reason.
Well, we know he's going to be pointless because Anton already picked him, so it doesn't really matter. That's all good. Right, Charlie, who have we got?
I've gone for a player I was quite excited for when he signed, but ended up being pointless, was Luis Antonio Jimenez, who we signed on loan from Inter Milan. And I was like, oh my God, we've got a player from Inter Milan. He's done all right. He looks decent. And then he was not decent. And he's done nothing since. He does that thing that all West Ham players tend to do when they leave the club, which is go on this beautiful downward spiral towards absolutely pointless football, where you look it up, you Wikipedia them, and you're like, oh, he's playing for second division Uruguayan side now. Okay, yeah, sure, that makes sense. But yeah, Luis Antonio Jimenez.
Yeah, and are we going for the fact that he had Antonio in his name or Jimenez in his name? Because obviously
Raul Jimenez. Give him the respect. Give him the respect. But you could go Antonio as well. You could go Antonio as well.
Yeah, we could do. And Anton, who have we got for right midfield?
Matty Holmes.
Oh, there's a name.
I just love the guy. He was like one of my earliest memories. He was like shoulders up. He had no neck, and he just terrorized.
And his haircut was like that, weren't it? He had like a really
middle parting, wasn't it? It was just. I loved it.
He had the big ears as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was part of that great. Obviously, we had him and Matty Rush and a lot of players called Matty at the time. And no, he was good fun. No, I liked him. He was. Did he go to Blackburn afterwards? Wasn't he? I think.
Yeah, I think
to Blackburn. So, yeah. So all right, Andy Impey, Louis Jimenez, and Matty Holmes. Never, who thought they would be in the same conversation? Right, okay, let's see what we've got. All pointless. All pointless. All pointless. What have they done? They're all pointless. Right, okay, right. That was right midfield. Scores and the doors. Still very close.
Oh,
still really squeaky bum time. You know, we've got one. Well, Ryan's got a point. Charlie's got a point. Anton's got 4 points. Obviously, for those people joining, the whole point is to get the lowest possible score. So, you know, it's incredibly low scores as well, which is absolutely brilliant. Right, central midfield, I believe now. This is where I think you're gonna make or break here. To be honest, Ryan, who do we have for central midfield?
I've gone for Edouard Cisse, who obviously Glenn Roeder signed. A player that when we signed him, I actually thought he was going to go on to be a good player for West Ham. He was tall, you know, he had a little bit of skill. He looked like he could put a tackle in, but yeah, it didn't really work out for him at West Ham, and we unfortunately got relegated that season. So, yeah.
Good signing.
I'll be very surprised if anyone's picked him, I tell you.
He was all right though, weren't he? If I remember, I think he had a bit of class about him as a midfielder. Didn't he go to? Was it Portsmouth? Wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah,
left us to go there.
We had loads of players who went to Portsmouth after because of just Redknapp and moving on, but quite a few. Charlie, who do we have in our famous surname, not so famous player? 11.
So I was really confident about this one until you said someone picked a calamity 11 at the London Stadium, because I've gone for Alexis Sanchez's namesake, Carlos Sanchez, who, if he wasn't selected in that 11, let's be real, was fraudulent. Like, that's just a lie. He needs to be in that 11. I don't actually think he's as bad as everyone else thinks he is. I don't think he's any good, but I don't think he's the worst player we've ever had, but he is complete trash. And I thought would be pointless until you said those words. And now I cannot believe that he has to have at least one at this point.
Well, we'll see. And Anton, who do you have in your first central midfielder?
I want to get this right, and I hope I've given you the right order again, Russ. I
believe, Alessandro Diamanti. There we go.
So I know this is probably the riskiest selection. I get it, but I just think he might go under the radar for some players because he did get the runner-up of Hammer of the Year.
Yeah.
But do you know what I loved about him most was every time he shot, he hit the ball on target. Whether the keeper saved it, but he just always. I remember watching games with my dad, and my dad was like, he's hit the ball from 30 yards, and he always hit the target. And I think he must have got 7 or 8 goals for us in a season, and he's Italian international. And
I remember when he used to shoot, he almost like it was almost like the ball was too far back for him. He sort of had this his body angle was really strange, but he just got so much power out of it. And
what a player he was. He even scored a goal the other night, didn't he? I think he's about 37, 38. Banging them in. But I remember when we first signed him, we played a reserve game at Upton Park, and me and Nicky went, and he played, and he banged a free kick in like top corner, and we turned around because Zola and Steve Clark were sitting just behind us in the stands, and Zola was just like nodding and smiling, saying, "We've got a good player here." Yeah, and he turned out to be a good player, and he's very underrated, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's maybe the route I was going down with this. I get it might not be pointless, but I was going down the underrated route, so we'll see.
But it's good because I think actually we have a mixture of different types of. We have some like obscure ones, but then some people who could have fallen under the radar, and I like that because it just gives us a chance to talk about someone like Diamanti, who was, he was absolutely crazy. He was one of ours, wasn't he? He was just like a complete typical West Ham player, just on the edge, where that Italian flair, he could just go one way or go the other way and just go completely off the rails. But right, see again, we've gone really good in the things. So we've got, and I tell you what, it's lucky we're not playing with Kent Hammers, because I think Kent Hammers would have basically not got a single point so far with Kovac for his pick for midfield. Right, so we've got Cisse, we've got Sanchez, and we've got Diamanti. Let's see. Oh, Charlie, you were right, man.
I know. The second you said it, I was like, I've been screwed over by Faubert, and now just someone else actually picking it. And also, can I also apologise to Anthony, because I picked Diamanti in my team. So I apologise, Anthony. One of those points is literally me. Sorry, my bad. He's just really good. I love Alessandro Diamanti. Boy had a free kick on him, corner on him. He was a baller.
He did, yeah. But I mean, three out of 150 for a top-notch player.
Yeah,
for runner-up Hammer of the Year, and I think actually another one picked him was where the guy picked people who were runners-up. They were bridesmaids, never the bride. So they were runner-up to Hammer of the Year. They never won Hammer of the Year. So it's so that's actually even better, I think, because the fact that he was runner-up to Hammer of the Year meant he was going to be in that team anyway. So okay, all right, 3. All right, okay. Next one. I'm loving this. This is brilliant. Right, okay, Ryan, who have we got? Is your second central midfielder?
I've gone for a player that, once again, I think was a bit underrated at West Ham. Little French wizard. I've gone for Mark Keller.
Ooh. Player. French
What a player
international.
You've joined me now, Ryan.
I remember he scored a goal away at Derby, top corner. And he was unbelievable for us. He was a great player, great sign. One of Harry Redknapp's better signings, should I say.
Yeah.
And I think he actually left us to go Portsmouth as well.
I think so. And
Yeah.
I remember he scored a great goal against
Derby.
Derby, Derby.
Yeah.
And I was watching the end of season reviews the other day again, and they all had and they interviewed him. He didn't speak much English, but he had this suit with like the biggest collar. You know, it wasn't 70s, but it was almost that big. That sort of, he was like, oh, bless him. But because he sort of, if I remember him and Lazaridis, they would play. He played more on the left, didn't he? He'd cut inside on the left quite a bit, so it was tend to be one or the other would play. But Mark Keller, quite a great player. Right, Charlie, come on, man. Who have we got for you?
Noble, David Noble. What I also like about David Noble, which I didn't know until I tried to remember David Noble, that he also has the same middle name as Mark Noble, which is James. David James Noble and Mark James Noble. So isn't that exciting? I don't even remember. David Noble's weird because I don't even remember him being at West Ham.
Oh,
I have a soft spot for Yeovil because when I was a kid, because I've got family in the southwest, I've seen him a couple of times, and I remember seeing him and going, "Oh, I wonder if he's related to Mark Noble," and then googling him and finding out he played for West Ham but was not related to Mark Noble. So I don't even remember him playing at West Ham, but I know he did. But yeah, David Noble.
David Noble, because he played. We signed him, and I think he must have played like a handful of games. I think he was one of those sort of cup players as well. I remember him sort of quite a tallish midfield player. David. The name's Noble. David Noble.
David Noble.
Absolutely brilliant. Right, come on, Anton. Who we got, man?
Alan Pardew's favourite, Carl Fletcher.
Allegedly. Carl Fletcher.
Yeah, again.
Solid.
Yeah, but, the goal against Tottenham in Lasagna Gate, he was a decent player, I thought. Done all right. Stepped in when he needed to do it. But just don't see many people choosing him.
No, I mean, again, he was one of those players, and we get it quite a lot. We interview players and the sort of, not the water carrier positions, but the defensive mid, always get a shout out by the players, but never by the fans. So Hayden Mullins or Pete Butler or people like that. And Fletcher was like that type of player, wasn't he? Really, sort of was a 6-7 out of 10 every game. Not really sort of high on most people's agenda, but would always do a job. Right, okay, here we go. Mark Keller, David Noble, and Carl Fletcher. Let's see. Oh, Ryan. 2. Tell you what, it's getting close. 2 points. 2 points. David Noble, surprisingly not, is a pointless answer. And Carl Fletcher is a pointless answer. So I think, do we have scores on the doors? Yeah, scores on the doors. Charlie's 2, Ryan's 3, and Anton's 7. So still to play for 3 positions left. Next is the second central midfielder. Oh, sorry, it's the forward. We've had both of them. So we're the forwards now. Sorry, 2 points. God, I'm losing.
I was going to say, what formation you play?
Getting so I've gone for the sort of the Allardyce formation where we're going to play a false 9. Right, no, we're going forwards. I got too excited then. Right, forwards. This is all to play for, particularly from the top 2. I think all to play for. Right, okay, Ryan. Who's your first striker?
Well, speaking of Allardyce, I've gone for one of these super signings that never worked out. I've gone for Shamak.
Oh, yes. Great hair from Shamak.
Great hair.
Do you know what? I remember when we signed him, we got him obviously on loan from Arsenal, and I thought, do you know what? He actually held a record for Arsenal in the Champions League. I think he was the first player to ever score 6 games in a row in the Champions League. So I thought, you know what? He might do well for us. But no, he played 3 games. I don't think he had a shot on target, and he just went away. So, yeah.
We tried to sign him before he went to Arsenal as well. When he was in France, I can't remember where he was, but we tried to sign him because he was on a free transfer, basically, which is when he ended up going to Arsenal. We were like really interested. And I was the same. I thought, he could do something here because he's a big sound player. He's a big lump. He's good in the air. I thought, you know what? He could do something here. And he didn't, but he had great hair. So
do you know what made it even worse? I slated him, and then he played for Crystal Palace and scored against us. So that made it even worse.
As always happens. And you're right. I mean, and if I remember, I was quite excited by the prospects because, as you said, he came with the pedigree from Arsenal. He was almost like the Batshuayi of that era, where we could have signed him, and but yeah, no, he just never did it. Did he score for us? He definitely scored a couple for us, I think, if I remember off the top of my head.
No, I don't think he did.
No? Oh, I'm sure Kent Hammers will tell us if we did or not. But right, okay. We've just had a donation come through from an Adam Noble.
Oh,
so
very exciting. There's more of them.
There's more of them. They're spreading. We'll get a whole team of them by next time we do this. Right, okay. Charlie, who have we got, man?
Okay, so this is now a bit of a risk given the 11 that was previously mentioned. I wouldn't put him in the worst West Ham calamity 11 for the London Stadium, but Ashley Fletcher. Ashley Fletcher. I like Ashley Fletcher. I thought he was good. I thought he was hard done by with us. He obviously had he had a reputation to an extent because he came from Man United. But I thought he was okay. It was just a bit. He did get the rub of the green, and I'm sure he'll be in a decent league for the rest of his career. But Ashley Fletcher.
Yeah, good shout.
Rumor had it about him when he was at United that he was the better player or the better prospect between Rashford.
Yeah.
But when I think did Fletcher get injured or no? Did he? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, when Fletcher got injured, and then Rashford came into the side, and then obviously exploded outwards, and they were like, "Well, we don't need this player anymore," so they sold him to us.
That's right. Yeah. Then look what happened.
And it happened, yeah. But he scored, didn't he? But he scored. But as I said, the league is in. Is it Middlesbrough now? Is it Middlesbrough?
He went down to Middlesbrough. I don't know if he's still there now, but he did go there after us. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all right.
I think he went to Sunderland first, and then Middlesbrough, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he did because he was on the what's name, wasn't he? He was on the Netflix show, the Sunderland Till I Die.
Oh,
He was on the last series they've just done, and I'm sure we're all looking forward to the 31st to watch the Tottenham one on Amazon Prime. That's gonna be fun. Not right. Okay, here we got Anton,
Mr. Brian Dean.
Ooh, Brian Dean. God bless him. What can we say about Brian Dean?
Again, do you know what? I'll never forget that goal he scored at Wigan. I was there, and it was the atmosphere in that stand. I think we took over that whole side stand, and it just when he scored that goal in the last minute, it was just the euphoria. It was just I ended up 10 seats away, 5 rows away from where I was sitting. Just unbelievable atmosphere, and it coincidentally knocked Wigan out of the Championship, brought Crystal Palace into the playoffs. Brought Crystal Palace into the playoffs. Oh. We then played them in the final and then got beat.
I still can't. I still have visions of that. I still close my eyes and I can just see a wall of yellow shirts bopping up and down to Glad All Over. It's just like, it's just horrible. It's just horrible. Right, okay. So we got Schmack. We got Ashley Fletcher this time. And we've got Brian Dean. It's getting tense now, guys. It is getting tense. Okay. Oh, it's all pointless. So it's almost going down to the final place. It's almost like I've orchestrated this, so it's down to the final place. Well, we'll see.
It's gone down to the last game of the season.
That's what I mean. It's like it is. It's like when the fixture list came out the other week and we saw we were going to have to beat. We have to beat Southampton, aren't we, to stay up this year? So
except for I'm Norwich, I'm already gone.
Oh. You never know. Ryan and Charlie might have picked, I don't know, Tony Cottee and Di Canio. So
I think I've got Payet as my next one.
Yeah. It was Payet and Di Canio, definitely. Right, okay. Who have we got, right? It's not Payet. Who is it?
Do you know what? Right, I think this is where I'm going to go wrong because I think when people pick their worst 11s, I think he's going to be in a lot, and he's probably the worst player I've ever seen play for West Ham. It's Midu. Honestly, there's a reason why they only give him £1,000 a week, and that was £1,000 a week too much. Honestly, he was. I remember him coming on, and I thought, is he wearing a small shirt because it was so tight on him? I've never seen a Premier League football player with a beer belly before, and honestly, it just sums up Golden Sullivan really giving him a contract. But Yeah, I've gone for Mida, but I think this is where I'm going to go wrong. I don't think he didn't score for us. I remember him missing a penalty, I think, away at Everton, I think it was. We drew 2-2 there, and he missed a penalty in that game. And, yeah, it's just... but I remember when he played for Tottenham, he actually scored against us, and he looked quite decent for Tottenham. But I think we signed him about 10 years too later and about 5 stone overweight too later. But, yeah, I'm going to go for him. And I think a lot...
Was it someone... Did someone find him in a kebab shop, or there was a story about he'd go and get a kebab like after the game or something like that?
No, he got a kebab while he was sitting on the bench waiting to go on.
Yeah. Although I read today there's going to be a shortage of doner meat apparently. Doner kebabs. It was on the front page of the Sun today. Unbelievable.
That's when you know the world's going to come.
That's when you know it's taken it. Yeah, it's taken it. You know, it's toll when you can't get a doner anymore.
Listen, you can take our Premier League football away, but you can't take our doner meat.
You can't take our doner. You're too bloody right. Yeah, freedom. Tzatziki. No, yeah. No, it's
hummus.
Hummus. Get it all. Are you a chili sauce man, Ryan?
Nah, mate, I sweat with a korma. I don't like all that hot stuff. It does me in. Honestly, I don't.
No.
I have a little bit of burger sauce on it or something like that.
Oh, good shout. A little bit of burger sauce. Yeah, big fan. Right. Charlie, what do you have in your kebabs?
I've never actually eaten a kebab, strangely enough. I don't know how. It's rare for me, who eats everything all of the time forever. But no, I've never had a kebab. When I go into kebab places, I get burgers. I don't know why. I honestly can't explain it to you.
Safe.
Signed the season after, very much the Mido replacement. Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane. Not as good as Roy Keane, in my opinion. A risky one because he actually scored goals. Although in the grand pantheon of West Ham strikers, why in the world would you pick Robbie Keane?
Yeah. And Anton, kebab, talk to me.
I can give or take a kebab, to be honest. I know I might look like I eat plenty of them, but I can give or take a few of them. So yeah, not for me.
No.
I think the more you drink, the better they taste.
Yeah.
When you're sober, they don't taste as great, do they?
No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah.
Although I don't mind a chicken shish, or like rather than the doner meat, rather than, I don't mind a shish kebab or something like that. But yeah. Anyway, interesting. We're all learning something new about
You're making me hungry. I only had me dinner before this.
I had it. I had a kebab before I came. That's why. Because I was worried. I was stockpiling.
I thought you had a bit of chili sauce around you.
Yeah, it was. I was stockpiling. Like what people do with the toilet roll. I'm doing it with kebabs now, just to make sure we're okay to see me through. Anton, who have you got for your last position, man?
Mr. Handsome, Danny.
Oh, what a lovely, what a beautiful man.
Mate, yeah, I mean, was it not him and Ian Dowie? Like, Ian Dowie was like I think he was just, I don't know. Did he not make some comments saying, back in my day, I was a handsome guy and whatever? He was getting really, really jealous. But yeah, when Danny came along, he was such a prospect though, wasn't he? He was he was supposed to be like the next big thing. And did he get sacked or did he get let go from West Ham? I know he was on loan. I can't.
Where did we get him from? Sporting Lisbon, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah, Sporting Lisbon. And
he actually scored. Didn't he score the winner at White Hart Lane?
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
And he was a great prospect.
Yeah, and a quality goal against Man City.
Yeah.
Like he got a couple of goals for West Ham, but really good prospect. But I think he must have been a ladies' man, and he was all. I'm sure he went out and was caught out all the time and not turning up to training. So I'm sure it was during that kind of time where West Ham were trying to take young prospects in, and then they were just not taking it serious.
What was it, old Les Seeley? God bless him. He said that he stopped bringing his wife to the games when we signed Darnie.
I remember pictures. I remember literally on the I think it was the North Bank or whatever. They had like girls would because it was like with the program you used to get like a poster in the middle, didn't you? And it was like Danny. And I remember people like the girls like sort of trying to stick it up with chewing gum onto the walls of the stadium. It was like absolutely mental. But I remember a funny story about we had.
I was doing that in my bedroom wall.
That's what I know. I know you wouldn't waste them, right? I know you wouldn't waste it.
I had Ian Dowie and Darnie.
Yeah, just next to each other and just above your bed. So you sort of.
No, I had Peter Beardsley above my bed.
You had them all. What they give you nightmares? That one would. But I remember when we spoke to who did we interview? We interviewed Steve Jones, and he was talking about Paolo Futre, talking about sort of all these sort of didn't turn up to training, and he tells a great story of Paolo Futre where he basically they were doing their sort of pre-season runs around Hainault Forest, their sort of cross-country run, and they all turned up and they're in their gear, and then this limousine pulls up, blacked out windows, the window creaks down, almost like a cigar is poked out of the window, and it's Paolo Futre with his sunglasses on, smoking a cigar, opens the door, he's in his kit, flicks his cigar away, runs for about 15 minutes, jumps back in the car, and it goes off. and Steve Jones is like, what? It's like Paolo Futre. He's like an incredible player for Atletico Madrid and stuff. And brilliant. But I'm pretty sure Darnie had a bit of the old London nightlife about him. And I think that's why he left. He was on a 6-month loan, I'm pretty sure, from Sporting Lisbon. If I remember the top of my head. Right. Anyway. Whew, this is getting very exciting now. So Midu, Robbie Keane, and Danny, 3 players they probably never assumed they were going to have this much excitement over. Let's see. So let's see what the scores were for this position. Oh. So
Who picks
Midu
Robbie Keane?
is a pointless answer.
Is it Foubert again? Have I been done by Foubert again?
Robbie Keane, I believe, was picked by one of the Irish hammers that we interviewed when they picked an Irish 11.
I respect that.
And Danny just 1 point. So what does that mean? That's what everyone wants to know. Ooh.
Can I just say that I actually love Midu now? He's my favourite.
3 to Ryan, 3 to Charlie, and Anton has 8. So obviously Anton, as he said, is the Norwich. But we've got what is it? Villa and Watford still to play. So how are we going to decide this? So usually in a cup game, obviously, we'll play a penalty shootout, won't we? And so we're going to do, and you don't have to worry, guys, you don't have to prepare anything. We're going to do the pointless penalty shootout. So basically, going through it, each one of your selections, and if you get a point, if they got a pointless answer, you scored the goal. If you don't, you've missed the penalty. So let's see. Ooh. And whoever has the most pointless answers is the winner.
Can I just say, Ryan, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Charlie.
Good luck.
I don't know what's going on, but good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck to both of you.
Good luck. So we've had Charlie 1 pointless. Let's see how many pointless answers everyone got. Ryan 1. So Ryan got 9 pointless answers out of his 11.
Midu.
And Charlie had 8. Oh, Charlie, you must be gutted. You must be like a Watford fan who went to these Vicarage Road in the Premier League. Now he has to go there, and it's the Championship.
Do we have VAR, Russ? Do we have VAR? Can we go?
We don't have any VAR, unfortunately. It's very similar to the was it the Ipswich game on Tuesday where Dean Garner's cross probably shouldn't have counted, but So what do we think, guys? After match analysis. I was well impressed by how many everyone got.
Yeah, it was good. You know what? It was just good hearing all them old names of players that played for us, because some of them you forget about. And it was good. I really enjoyed that. Something different as well.
Good. You didn't know what.
I'm going to start watching Pointless now.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's all good. It's all good fun and games. No, it was good, and it really surprised me how many pointless answers we'd get, to be honest. But no, it was good fun. What do we think this season? We've got a few minutes left, guys. We're going to about, we said about an hour. Matty will be on about 9ish anyway. What do we all think about? Obviously, we're through to the final of the Betway Cup again. Final. We've got obviously Bournemouth. We've got Brentford on Saturday. Ipswich and Wickham were all right, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I was working, so I didn't watch it live, but I got home and watched the highlights. And I was really impressed with a few of the players. Lanzini stood out for me. Nice to see him. You know, I know it's only Wickham, but it's nice to see players like that get a bit of confidence, get their feet on the ball, and take players on. Obviously, Sebastian Haller, hat trick, but Diagana for me. What a prospect! What a signing he can be. Like not a signing, but like if we can get him sort of in the first team next season, he will save you having to spend 20-25 million on a player. He's a great. We see what he done at West Brom last season. You know, I like the way West Brom fans are going on like he is their player. Like we're not, like we loaned him to you. But no, I'm looking forward to Saturday. To see us how we line up as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I think Declan Rice was back in training today, I believe. So and Fabianski as well. So maybe they might get a run out, but
yeah, and it's weird. I still don't understand why they split the squad. I don't got it. I mean, it gives an opportunity for everyone to get a run out, but it was.
I think it was quite good because it was unusual as well. I've never seen that happen. Like 2 games on the same day, same time, and then it was. But it gives, as you said, it gives everyone a run out because I know the season only finished a few weeks ago and it starts in a couple of weeks, but they still need to get game time.
Yeah.
I tell you what really excites me is like with Haller, the one thing that at the first half of last season, when he was in and around the 6-yard box, I was really confident in him. I thought if he's in that area, he was just putting him in. Like if he was served it on a plate, he was putting them into the net. And one thing I really liked about Diangana at West Brom last year and in the friendly I did the watch along with young Tom for the Wickham game, so I've only seen the highlights of the Ipswich game, but he was really always driving to the byline and then just cutting it back across for strikers. That was his whole thing. He was taking on his man, getting to the byline, putting it back across. And if you've got someone like Haller, who I do trust in that 6-yard box, just waiting for those cutbacks, that's a good partnership. That's a good partnership we've got there.
Yeah,
actually, I watched the Ipswich game, and funny enough, he was actually quite quiet in the first half, but it was the second half. I found him really unpredictable in the second half in particular. But that unpredictability, he wasn't like awkward with it. He's a quality player, but the opposition did not really know what to do when he had the ball. And like Ryan said, I mean, he's going to offer us a whole new aspect. He gave a lot of the freedom and support to Haller. I mean, he set up the 3 goals, and Haller looked. I know it's opposition we're playing in pre-season, but he looked a lot more confident. But the player that stood out for me in particular, that I honestly, I mean, again, I need to be mindful of the fact it was pre-season, was a young lad, Alessi. If he can continue that form or anything like that moving forward, then we have got ourselves a centre half. And I know everyone's talking about Baptiste, but Alessi in the first half in particular, he was so calm, so collected. He was totally bossing Balbuena about, and every time he received the ball, he had his head up. He was trying to find a pass. And sometimes in that game, I think there was like 2 or 3 particular passes, 40 yards direct to the player. Yarmolenko, he nearly set up Haller for a goal. He looks like a proper find. He really excited me, actually. What came out of that game, I thought he's the one. He actually came off, I think, injured, but hopefully he'll pull through.
The only thing that worries me about Diagana as well is where he's had a taste of playing in the first team for West Brom is that he ain't going to want to sit on the bench week in, week out of West Ham. And I know that West Brom are linked with him and Fulham are linked with him. So David Moyes has got a big decision to make with Diagana. And look, no one's got a God-given right to start in the first team at West Ham. They've got to work hard, but I think Diagana's got everything you need and what we want for a player, because I think that's what we lacked a lot last season. A player like Diagana who would get his head down and just run and take people on. He ain't afraid to do a few like tricks and excite the crowd. I mean, obviously he won't have the crowds there next season, but we'll all be sitting at home getting excited watching it.
Yeah, they just get a good view wherever at home. And I mean, someone like obviously. He said, it might save us 20-odd million or whatever it was for Eze. We'd have spent for that. But yeah, I mean, Diangana on one wing, Bowen on the other, Haller, Antonio. It's looking tasty. I'm still quite confident. Do
you know what? I think what I see of Bowen from when he signed to now, I think he's going to be a big contender for Hammer of the Year next year at West Ham.
Sure.
And he's going to be a big player for West Ham. And I can see maybe next summer, if he has a great season, I can see bigger teams coming in for him. Yeah. I really can. He's got everything as a player.
No, he is. He's a good player. I think him and Souček, Souček, I mean, he's going to be one of those players who gets picked up on a lot of people's fantasy football league teams because I think it'll be quite cheap.
I hope he ain't one of these players that look good when they're on loan and when we sign them, they just go, right, shit. But I don't think he will. He was great for us at the end of the last. And Bowen sort of them signings and Antonio, kept us up.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I think it's. Well, I just think, I mean, we'll see what happens at the Brentford game, and obviously the Bournemouth game in the Betway Cup. But still quietly confident. We'll see what happens, but guys, thank you so much. I promised an hour, and I've taken an hour of your time. I really, really appreciate. Thank you very, very much, guys. We've had a giggle, and we've talked about some old players. So thank you very much, Anton and Ryan. Cheers, and Charlie. Obviously, guys, anyone who's watching, obviously, Irons United, Hammers Chat, West Ham Fan TV. Make sure you guys get on content and subscribe to them, because they're all top guys, and they've given up their time today to. And also, they've been agonising, sending me messages, Twitter messages, Facebook, WhatsApp, because they're all worried, And but well done, Ryan. You didn't know what you were doing, but you won, so well done.
Absolutely. Well, I've won blockbusters on our channel. I've won pointless on this. Can someone do deal or no deal next? Charlie,
that's my next one. My next one's gonna be we'll do what's it called? Play your cards right. That's my next one.
Yeah, we'll do that one.
But anyway, guys, thank you. I'm going to switch you off now, and we'll get ready for Miss Efton. Thanks, guys. Cheers for your time, and see you later, mate. Thank you very much, everybody. That's obviously the first bit. We've had the guys from Hammers Chat. We've had the guys from Irons United and the guys from Hammers from West Ham Fan TV. Forgot how many we had there. We're going to very, very shortly welcome Mr. Matty Etherington. Just waiting for him to turn up, and then we'll be going for a live Hammers. My Hammers 11 show. We'll then also do the prize draw. You've still got plenty of time to enter. As we said before, we're currently on £9,421, an absolutely incredible amount of money. Ideally, we'd like to, if we can, hit £10,000. I just see Matty is just about to come on, so it'd be really exciting to get him on soon. But yeah, £9,421. So please keep subscribing. Please keep going onto the Just Giving site. And donate what you can. As you said, every £10 that you donate enters you into the raffle. We've got some signed shirts, we've got loads of really cool signed memorabilia and stuff like that. So we're going to welcome a man who played over. Can you just get my little book? Sorry, I've got my assistant here who's passing my little book, because I like to make notes as we're going along. He played, he made 195 appearances for West Ham across 6 years, scored 18 goals. In my words, the last true winger in the truest sense that West Ham ever had. It's Mr. Matty Etherington. He says, there he is. Hey, how you doing, Matt?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, mate?
Very well, thank you. An absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. It's really, really nice of you, and I appreciate your time doing this, man. We'll have a giggle. Obviously,
always.
Always, particularly with West Ham. Basically, the whole idea of what we do is to find out more about your experience at West Ham. Obviously, I've seen you on Hammers Chat and things like that, but it's always great to talk to you firsthand, and hopefully we'll have a few questions at the end and stuff like that as well. And we've got the prize raffle, everybody, so make sure you donate. We're over £9,000, so let's get to 10,000 by the end of talking to Matty. It'd be lovely. Thank you very much for Irons supporting Foodbanks. Matty, obviously, 6 years at West Ham, almost 200 appearances. How did it all begin? How did the track? Because obviously you joined in we just got relegated, and then you joined us. What was the story behind that sort of the transfer?
It was a weird one, to be honest with you. I've been at Spurs for 3.5 years, and things weren't working out. So West Ham come in for me. They wanted Freddie Canute. So it was basically kind of a swap deal with Freddie going the other way, and a bit of money on top of Freddie, obviously, because he was a better player than me at that time. So once I knew West Ham were involved, it was a no-brainer for me. West Ham were in the Championship at the time, just got relegated, and I jumped at the chance. See, it was across the roads in many respects, so to speak, and I wanted to stay in London. I love London. I was embracing the area, and that's how it came about.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. From Tottenham to West Ham, it's not massive.
It was strange.
Yeah, but it's not.
Go on, sorry.
No, I was about to say it's not like a massive, like geographically massive as well. You know, I live in Essex, and so you know it's just as quick to me to get to West Ham as it is to get to Tottenham, and so at least your family would stay in the same place.
Yeah, when you live in certain areas, I was living in Waltham Abbey at the time, and of course there's no distance really, like no difference in the way you go to training times or go to the stadium. So it worked well for me. And I spoke to Glenn Roeder, who was manager at the time. I went to his house and spoke to him, and unfortunately 3 or 4 months later he left the club. But when I spoke to him at his house, he was brilliant. He was fantastic, and it just felt like the right move at the right time. And in the end, it worked out. It was the right move.
Was you not a little bit like, because obviously we'd just been relegated, and so you know it was like. Obviously, you're at Tottenham, where he's Premier League, he's going to the Championship. Were you obviously confident that West Ham had enough to bounce back, basically?
Of course, I did. And the first day I went to the stadium to sign, I knew how big the club was, and that is it's genuine. It was you could tell by the drive down Green Street and just the drive down surrounding areas. I make sure I drove down surrounding areas afterwards, and the club was huge. And you could tell that. It's going into the stadium and the Bobby Moore stand, etc. The Chicken Run, as it was used to call. It was just a stadium steeped in history, with unbelievable players that have gone through that football club, and it just felt like the right move, and that's the reason I made the move.
Yeah, and you know, sort of the rest was history, really. I mean, obviously, I think was it 4 managers you play under at West Ham? Technically,
it may have been more. So it was Glenn Roeder, Trevor Brooking, Pardew, Curbishley, Zola, 5. One hand. I forgot about Curbs. God bless Curbs. I could do with a couple of Curbs seasons at the moment. Too much squeaky bum time for my liking. But there were 5 managers. I mean, that must have been a lot. But you played, apart from obviously Zola, where it was towards the end really before you went to Stoke. But you were a regular for every manager, really, wasn't it? I was, to a certain extent, especially in the first 3 years. I feel like I played my best football. Especially in the Championship, without a doubt. Under Roeder for his first tenure, for his first few months, and Trevor Brooking for however long he was in charge, and then Pardew, was brilliant for me. And we had a good couple of years there. And then Curbishley come in, he sees things differently, which is fine. It happens in football. It's not an issue. And then Zola come in and really warmed to me at the start, which was really good. But those first few years at West Ham were really, really good and really special to me. And
I mean those first, obviously your first season was you won Ham of the Year, wasn't it? And I mean, what's that like? To win, obviously you've come in, you must have obviously known about the whole West Ham Tottenham thing, and then but to come in and then end up being voted, the fans' Player of the Year must be absolutely fucking amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, I still say it to this day. It's probably one of the biggest achievements I've had in my career. Really? When I looked at those names on that trophy, when I received the reward, it took me aback a little bit. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's some unbelievable players steeped in history, involved with the football club that were on that trophy, and to get that award was really, really humbling and something I'll never forget. To be honest with you, I'll never ever forget.
No, and to be honest, there's particularly some of your goals. People talk about the Ipswich goal in the first semi-final of the first lot of playoffs. I think there's people still talk about that goal. I was doing an interview, doing the Hammers 11 the other day, and that came up, and you forget about that goal. And I watched it again afterwards, and
I don't forget about that goal. No chance. No. It's one of them where I've said it before on other Hammers channels and websites that I'll be honest with you, it's one of them goals where I watch it back time and time again.
Yeah,
I really do, because it gives me probably my top 3 feelings in my career, the best feelings in my career. The feeling I got from scoring that goal at Upton Park in front of the Bobby Moore in that kind of game under the lights, early evening, and watching it back and seeing the fans react the way they did was just really, really special. I don't think I felt it at the time, but I don't realise now, I didn't realise at the time how big it was and how much it meant to me. Not just the fans, how much it meant to me as well. Yeah.
It was one of those days. I mean, people still talk about that game as, you know, in terms of atmosphere. And like even now, when you're talking to people, go, oh yeah, it was a good game. Yeah, the crowd were good, but it wasn't good as that Ipswich game. And they still talk about that Ipswich game even now about that atmosphere. What's it like going through the playoffs, being a player, going, because obviously from a fan it's fucking nerve wracking, but from a football, you know, it's like knowing what is at stake. It must be terrifying, really.
It is, yeah, it is. And we had the owners come into us and come to the training grounds that week, and then you realise how big it is. But you got to embrace it. You've got to get on with it and step up. And that's what I felt like we did. Obviously, we lost in the final against Crystal Palace, but the next year we went up. Yeah. But those games are what make you as a player, make you or break you, so to speak. So that night, even though we got beat in the final, I still won't forget. And obviously, moving forward, we went up the next year. But they are nerve-wracking games, very nerve-wracking games. I wouldn't want to go through them many times as a player because you know what's at stake. Yeah. And you know what's at stake for the football club ultimately, and that's what matters more than anything, fans in the football club.
And that's what I mean. It's like for you got to think, you know, obviously, you know, around the football club, you've got the tea lady, you got Betty the tea lady, you got Eddie the kit mat, you got all these guys, and you're thinking, if we don't do the first, particularly the second time, the first time I think it was all new. You know, obviously, I mean, I still have nightmares of that game because I can just close my eyes and see a wall of yellow shirts jumping, singing "Glad All Over." We were just talking about it just now with the guys beforehand. I still refuse to play that. If I ever DJ at a wedding and someone asks for that as a request, I still don't play "Glad All Over" because it still bites me. But yeah, I mean, then obviously the relief, and obviously your cross for Bobby in the second final scored the goal.
Yeah, I know, and that was. It felt like huge redemption, to be honest. Like that, the relief from that game, I can't tell you how happy we were. Can you imagine if we'd have got beaten that game or not gone, not gone up? I dread to think where West Ham would have been, because at that time the club was struggling financially. It was in a bad place, so it was a big game, and Bobby done the business. And on the day, I felt like we were the better team. We were the better team against Crystal Palace, but it's all about goals, and they're always tight games. You've seen it this year, and under lockdown, they're tight games. Yeah. They're really tight games in playoff finals. So that's just the way it is. But you've got to really stick with it and you know, get on with it really. And it's very, very nerve wracking.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's just, I think nerve-wracking for you, nerve-wracking for the other.
Of course, it's probably more nerve-wracking for the fans than it is for us, but it's still nerve-wracking. Trust me.
It's horrible. Yeah, it must be horrible. Yeah. It's more pressure for you, isn't it? It's nerve-wracking for us as a fan, but for you, knowing that you've got 40,000 people there, plus everyone else back at the club, it must be awful. But I mean, you know, the relief, as you said, it goes through, and you know. Did you all celebrate in Cardiff that night, or did you have to?
No, we went back to London. London and celebrated there. But we had a young squad, and I've said this before that helped us, because when it's the Premier League season after that, and we were young, we were fresh, we had to prove, and we did that. Fair, that first season in the Premier League, we were outstanding with the young players. We had unproven players in the Premier League. I had a point to prove. A lot of other as well, and we did that in that first season in the Premier League. I thought we were outstanding and really took it to teams on the front foot. We played some good football and scored lots of goals.
Yeah, no fear. It seemed
no fear. Exactly that. Yeah, that was it in a nutshell. No fear.
And you get that, don't you, for some teams who go up? I've got a feeling it might be with Fulham this year, where it's a younger side. and they're playing with no fear. Whereas, you know, an established team, maybe that's, you know, like a West Brom who's bounced a little bit, they still have the fear of going back down because they've already experienced that recently. So they've got that.
But Fulham have as well,
DNA.
to be fair. Do you know what I think the key is? I think the key is that you stick or you trust that squad that's got you to that, and you go with it a little bit, and you ride it, and you add a little bit of quality. You look at Fulham the year they went up a couple of years ago, they spent 125 million. It didn't work. It kind of, the balance of the squad wasn't right, and it set the wrong tone to the rest of the squad that got them into the Premier League. I think what Alan Pardew done well, to be fair to him, he kept that young squad he had. He had some quality, but we were young, we were hungry, and we wanted to prove ourselves in the Premier League. And I think that's a key element to surviving in the Premier League moving forward. Then after that, you got 1-2 years in the Premier League, 3 years maybe, then you got to build on that and keep going. But those first 1, 2, 3 years is really key.
It's similar to obviously Sheffield United this season, wasn't it? It was like,
exactly.
And Wolves, obviously Wolves before, but Sheffield United this year. It seems you're right. The teams that don't spend a crap load of money and have a nucleus of people who have played together for a whole season or a couple of seasons, you know, working their way up. You just had that togetherness as well, that bond.
Yeah,
and I mean, not only did we sort of do really well in the league, but obviously FA Cup final. You know, like that was just the culmination of that season. You know, it's like. What's it like to walk out and play, be involved in an FA Cup final? I mean,
bearing in mind, sorry, go on.
No, go on, you carry on, man. You carry on.
Bearing in mind, we'd been in the Millennium Stadium 2 years before, which is crazy when you think about it. We could have been at Wembley, but the Millennium Stadium was a very nice stadium as well. But it was a boyhood dream of mine, I'll be honest, and it's very cliche, but it was. I remember watching the helicopter fly over the team bus on the way to the stadium. I remember all of that as a kid. And I always thought to myself, I want to play in an FA Cup final. And that was my first. And it was surreal. I didn't really take it all in, my first cup final, I'll be honest, because I was so nervous. And I got injured 3 weeks before. Christian Daly done me in training. I got a bad ankle injury. So for those 3 weeks leading up to the cup final, I was purely focused on getting fit for that cup final. And Alan Pardew said to me, if you're available and you tell me you're okay, you're going to play the game. So that was my sole focus. I couldn't enjoy the build-up with the press and getting the suits done and all that. My sole focus every single day was making sure I was ready for the final.
Of course.
So I loved walking out at the Millennium Stadium. It was amazing, but I didn't really take it all in. And the first half an hour, as everyone knows, was amazing. Yeah. We completely dominated the game in many respects and were 2-0 up. And then that goal just before half time probably rocked us a little bit. But we had a team that believed, like I went back to earlier. We believed in ourselves. Even though player to player, we weren't as good as Liverpool. The likes of Gerrard and Cisse and Crouch and obviously Carragher, etc. We believed in what we were doing, and that is a key aspect in football. That goal just before half time probably rocked us a little bit, and then Conch obviously gets the cross come shot goal. And it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's still hard to take. Even now, to be honest, I struggle to talk about it because, winning an FA Cup would have been, or is a dream of mine, and it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen. And obviously, it was the weirdest game as a fan ever because you left thinking you'd won. Because and then
we were good, weren't we, on the day? We were
awesome.
Really well.
And when you play to such a standard and you play, I mean, you're right. That first half hour. Off the park we played them off the park. They just didn't get out of the gates. And I think the biggest disappointment for us was thinking about it afterwards was obviously we played them in the league, didn't we? And then obviously Hayden and Garcia had a bit of a ruck. Garcia not playing for Liverpool was but Hayden was crucial really for our team. It made it tick, and I think that was a huge. We had to rejigger it. It didn't work as well, but I mean. He was a great player, but when you leave the pitch, when you leave the game, and you're walking back through Cardiff, and you know, loads of Scousers are coming up to you, shaking your hand and saying you should have won that. You were robbed. It's like, yeah, we know we are, but it's nice of you to acknowledge that. But
yeah,
and we've
No,
had,
we were.
we were totally robbed. But yeah,
I don't like talking about it that much.
Nah.
It's still thinking now. I'll be honest with you, mate. It's still thinking.
Yeah, I know. We'll just keep talking about the Ipswich goal because that was really good.
Yeah.
Keep talking about the Ipswich goal because that was brilliant, and everyone, and loads of comments of people coming in saying how much they still, it was hairs in the back of their neck and everything. It was incredible. Now, obviously, and then someone made a point in the comments, Matty. Did you play under Kevin Keane as a caretaker manager?
Not as a caretaker.
No, because Kent Hammers, who's like my sort of unofficial fact checker, made a point in the comment section. He wanted to check, but no, I don't think he did.
No, I don't believe I did. No,
because that would have been sick.
Kev was Alan Parde's assistant.
Yeah.
Alongside Peter Grant.
Yeah, and then Kirby took over after that. So yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't believe.
No, Kent Hammers, you are wrong. Probably. I
might be wrong, but.
Well, I mean, you're the one who played, so
I don't believe I did, but
it was nearly 200 appearances, mate. It's quite a few. Yeah. That's the most you played for any club, wasn't it? Going through, I think.
Yeah, it's not close to Stoke, to be fair. I had 5.5 years at Stoke as well, but West Ham the most appearances.
Yeah, and it's clear. I mean, obviously not just today, but obviously when we spoke, when I've heard you on other shows, how much the club meant to you, how much how much you loved your time at West Ham, obviously playing and stuff, and
without a doubt, I've said it a lot. I've been retired now, nearly 6 years. 6 years in October.
Yeah.
I just fell in love with the club, everything that it represents, and it helped me out definitely because at that time when I left Spurs, I was trying to find my way in the game, even though I was a decent enough player, but it gave me my grounding, it gave me my home, and just the people in and around the training grounds, the fans, the way they are, how honest they are. Because I'm the same. I'll be honest with you, mate. I'm an honest person, and if I don't agree with something or I've got something to say, I'll say it, and that's exactly the West Ham. The way the West Ham fans are, and I can relate to that, and I like that. But they're ridiculously loyal, and again, that's me in a nutshell, and that's why I love West Ham.
Yeah. And I think as a winger, particularly, and also as as fullbacks as well, you have a special bond with the chicken run, and just because you're closer to than anyone else. So, and I think and I said when I introduce you, I think your position that when you could just literally knock it past the fullback, beat the man, and cross it in or bring it in yourself. That's a sort of a lost art, I think, in the game now. I think I really think that old wing play is a bit old. It's all about cutting inside, and I don't like that now.
It is, mate. It is. It's a dying breed. And I'm coaching now. I've been coaching my third season, and there's not that many players that do that anymore. No. But that's just the way the game's going. And I think as a coach or as a fan, you've got to adapt to that. Yeah. I was a dying breed, 100%. That was my game. I'd work for my team defensively and help my fullback out. But also I'd like to try and get on the outside of my fullback and try and beat him or go inside when it happens or get movement off him or whatever. Yeah. And give him a problem. But nowadays it's a lot more tactical. I think that's the way the game's gone.
Yeah, it is. But it can be such a simple game. It's like if you had and I just think I don't know. I've
always said it, mate. I've always said it. Simplicity is genius. Yeah, and it is. But my kind of player and out wingers are definitely a dying breed. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, who knows? Only time will tell.
Speaking of players, let's do your Hammers 11. So everyone we've had.
By the way, this was really hard.
It is really hard, but everyone we've had on the team, everyone had on the channel, we've had 160 odd guests in. We've been around for like 4 months, so it's got a bit mental. And everyone we've had has picked an 11, bar Mr. Redknapp, Mr. H. Redknapp, and Ian Bishop. They didn't pick an 11, but everyone else has. And so with the players, we like to pick an 11 of the best players you played with during your time at West Ham. So, you had 6 years, so you had a lot of ins and outs as well, and a lot of young players and old veterans. It'd be quite interesting to go through it. Okay, Kent Hammers admits he might be wrong about
really?
Kevin Keane. Kevin Keane, apparently, sorry, it was caretaker at West Brom away, if memory serves. We lost 3-2 to I think it was before Franco took over, but I'm probably wrong.
Okay, maybe he's right.
Maybe he's right.
Maybe.
Don't make him.
No, he might be right. He might be right for that one game.
He beat
I
me.
can't remember that. I'm sorry.
He beat me at a West Ham quiz the other day, and I was gutted. But he is like Mr. West Ham.
He's probably right then, mate.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. But if it was one game, it's like you hit 200. Not being funny, it's like 0.5% of your I've done the maths. 0.5% of your West Ham career. Right. Okay. So it's tricky. It is tricky doing your 11, but it's all a laugh, and and you can say notable mentions if there's people you thought.
I've got notable mentions. All
right, let's start off in goal then, Matty. Who we got in goal for you?
Okay. So I've gone for Rob Green.
Greeno, yeah.
Yeah. Just a very, very steady Eddie. A strange bloke, don't get me wrong.
So I've heard, yeah.
Very different, but obviously got his England caps and played for England, but would very, very rarely make a mistake. And I think that's what you want from the goalkeepers, is not to make mistakes. Obviously, we had Xhaka, Jimmy Walker, who for 6 months was very, very good, fantastic, and a brilliant bloke as well, by the way. And Roy Carroll. But for me, an overall keeper, you go on mistakes and etc. and longevity. Rob Green would be the one for me.
Yeah. And by all accounts, an interesting character, very different.
Yeah, that's to put it lightly. Yeah,
very different. But although I love his haircut, his lockdown haircut, he looks like sort of Sheamus from WWE.
A nice bloke at the same time. He's different, but he's a nice bloke. He's a nice bloke. Yeah.
All right. Okay. We're going to play a 4-4-2 or
no? We're going 4-3-3. We're going
4-3-3.
One and two in midfield. So it's Holder and two in front and the three up front.
You can tell you're a coach now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's go left. Let's go left back then.
Left back. It's only one person for me is Paul Konchesky.
Yeah.
I had my best time with him as a player. We weren't even really talking about it beforehand or after. Obviously, we work on it in training, but we knew what each other wanted from our games. And Conch was a very good fullback. For me, we spoke about earlier, and the way I played, I want to go outside of people and take them on and be positive. For me, when I had fullbacks and they were trying to overlap me and congest me in 2v2, it used to drive me mad, thinking, leave me alone, let me leave and not be one, and I'll do my stuff. And Conch wouldn't do that. He'd know the right time to do it and the right time to not. So that's why Conch is the left back.
Yeah, and obviously that's sort of your partner in crime. It's critical, isn't it, for your success?
Yeah, it really is.
All right, let's go right back then. Let's go the other side. Who've got the other side, Matty?
We've gone Lucas Neal.
Oh, Lucas Neal.
Yeah.
Good player. Very
good player and an even better captain. That season we stayed up under Adam Kirbishley. He was the keys for me. Knew how to manage people, knew how to manage personalities, and a very good player at the same time. He was the right person at that right time to, obviously alongside Curbs and that, you got to give them credit, but Lucas was integral to that. He really was. I can't emphasise that enough. And a very good footballer and a good bloke. So Lucas Neal for me at right back.
Yeah, no, we've had other players of your era, and they've spoken, like Anton, and they've spoken about him as a man. And to be honest, stuff that and that's what I love about this type of show is you hear like little stories, and Anton tells the story of when Lucas called a team meeting and basically shut Curbs and Mervyn Day out.
We went out for lunch and just had a chat with each other. Obviously these things happen still now, but just at the right time, the right place. he'd pull individuals at the right time in the right place. He'd speak to them. He was a natural leader about that.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, Lucas Neal's in. Centre backs. Who's your first centre back then?
Danny Gabardon.
Oh, Gabs.
Yeah.
Good old Gabs. Have you been watching his Instagram? He's been doing his DJ sets from his loft.
Yes, I have. Yeah, Gabs. Obviously, through James Collins, I still speak to Gabs now and again. And when he first joined, obviously he had his injury problems with his back, like I did. But Gabs was a Rolls Royce of a centre half. I just wish he had more longevity in his career. But at that time, at West Ham, I thought he was outstanding. I really did. Thought he read the game brilliantly. He was quick. He was strong in the air. He could read things. He could bounce in front and nick things off attackers. A very, very good player. So Gab would definitely be my centre half.
Sure. And who's he going to partner then?
So this is where I had a little bit of conflict, because obviously James Collins is one of my best mates, and still speaking to him all the time, and I'm seeing him tomorrow, so he'll probably get the ump. But I had to go purely because of their relationship, Danny Gabardon and Anton Ferdinand together.
Yeah.
I thought at that time, obviously it was probably an 18-month, 2-year period, but they complemented each other brilliantly. So therefore, that's why I'm going with them too. And Anton had a lot of ability. Anton, again, to Gabs, they were very similar in the way they played. Very good aerially. Anton could play on the floor, and he was quick enough and he was strong enough. So that little duel that they had at that time was brilliant for West Ham.
He did, yeah. And it was always, I mean, in that period, it always seemed that it was Anton plus Gabs or Ginge, wasn't it, really? Yeah. And obviously, Ginge came back and was incredible.
Evolved, didn't he, as a player? But I think at that time during my career, those two were probably the best.
Oh, I mean, best. I mean, in hindsight, the best thing Ginge did was go to Villa, because he seemed to be under Richard Dunn. He came back back as what I call a West Ham player. He had a skinhead, he had a beard, and he was a different player, And
he was,
And he won't be too happy. I won't.
I
won't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I won't mention it to him, but he can come on and not put you in his team, so that's fine.
Exactly. He won't do, though. He won't put me in. No chance. No. But it's all good. Yeah, we're all friends.
You playing golf tomorrow? What are you doing tomorrow?
No, I'm working tomorrow. We play golf on Wednesday, so it'll remind me then.
That's the one thing I've noticed more. I always thought that footballers play golf, forever. But you all fucking do. It's like it's funny. Yeah.
It's a release. That's all I can say.
Absolutely brilliant. Right, okay, let's go into midfield then. Let's go with left midfield. Who are we going to put in left midfield, Matthew Etherington?
So left of 3 in midfield.
Yes, you have 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you'd have gone with a holder first, but okay.
Go holder. Go on. You're the coach.
Holder.
Go for the holder. Yeah.
Right. It's a no-brainer. It's Michael Carrick.
Yeah.
Still to this day, even though I was privileged enough to play for him for 6 months, I think it was. He left in January when I joined, and I roomed with him for those 6 months. Still one of the best footballers I've ever played football. He just ridiculous. So underrated for me. Still in this country, and such an underrated footballer. And I'll go back to it earlier. Simplicity is genius. He did the right things at the right time. He never lost the ball. If he was to play forward, he'd play forward. If he was to keep the ball for his team, he'd keep the ball for his team. And just such a gifted player. Yeah. Such a brilliant football brain. And obviously then he went on to Spurs, but it was a privilege to play with him for those 6 months. It really was.
He always just seemed to have time. Do you know what I mean? There's
exactly.
Good play. I mean, people in
the best players do. The best players do.
I mean, people in sort of the more experienced fans, I call them, not the old farts, but the experienced fans. They obviously had Trevor Brooking, and he famously wasn't very quick, but always had time on the ball. And Carrick just seemed to be the same. Every team he's left. So when he left West Ham, we never really replaced him. When he went to Tottenham, Tottenham went to Man United, they never replaced him, and then Man United never replaced him. He's one of those players.
In a nutshell, to be honest, exactly that. And obviously, he's very decorated. He's won a huge amount of trophies. but I still don't think he's appreciated as much as he should be. Absolutely good footballer. Very good footballer.
I think
he doesn't score goals and he doesn't, keep. Yeah. But the way he ticks teams over, the way he builds play is just exceptional. Really is.
I think also, I just think it's one of those things where he came along at the same time, particularly at West Ham, where we had the golden generation, and it's like, and he's always, and everyone talks about Frank and Joe and Rio, and then it's Carrick's always like the fourth, and it's just, and it's the same as like even in the 60s, it was more Hurst and Peters, and it's a shame because I just think if he came 2 years earlier or 2 years later, he would be in the.
When you talk about Joe Cole and Rio and Glenn John, he should be spoke about in the same ilk.
Totally,
100%.
Totally.
Look at the trophies he's won. Look at what he's done in his career. It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely fine. Right, okay. So Carrick is in. Who is next?
He's called in. Yeah, the two in front. This was hard. I'll be honest with you. But I've gone. For me, it's a no-brainer. Just off the left of him is Mark Noble. Nobes was just coming through as I was probably a couple of years at West Ham, but he was in starting and playing regularly in the first team. But we've seen him coming through training because he was standout as an under-18, etc. And just his character and what he's done for the football club in general, and his longevity and how unique he is in a player and staying at one club. For me, he has to be in there. And again, I wouldn't say to the extent of Michael Carrick, but still an underrated footballer. I still hear on West Ham channels and West Ham fanzines that he's past it. And I look at his performances in lockdown. Everyone's got their opinions, and that's fine. But my opinion is that when he contributes well, and when he contributes what he can contribute, he's still a huge asset to the football club. Yes, his time, obviously, he's getting older now and he's not going to be there forever, but he's still a huge part of the football club, and that's why I've put him in the team. Yeah,
and you're right. I mean, he's one of these players. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I'm one of the 300 or whatever to get to the games at the moment, and watching him. And it's a shame. I'd love to have recorded him or something like that. But that Chelsea game when obviously we beat Chelsea 3-2, and he wasn't playing. He was sitting in the disabled area where it's already socially distanced already, the seats. And he was watching the game like a fan, and he just thought, yeah, he is a fan. And and as soon as that final whistle, I mean, he jumped over the barrier. He could have really fucked up his ankle, to be honest, but he did because he just wanted to get in the dressing room, and and he cares, and it means such a lot to people when they feel. I mean, you've played for West Ham, you know that how the fans, they respect effort and stuff like that, and I'm a massive fan of Nobes. Right, okay, Nobes is in.
Just off the right of Michael Carrick, so you got Nobes off the left, just off the right. This was hard because Scotty Parker, in the year and a half I was there, was absolutely outstanding. And obviously what he done for the football club in keeping him up that season was, very, very inspiring. But just the longevity and how Yossi Ben-Yun has to be the one off the right for me. Absolutely brilliant footballer. Technically outstanding. And very good person, first and foremost. So him for me would be the one, but Scotty Parker, I feel bad leaving him out because he done a lot for West Ham and his performances. But Yossi was a special player,
brilliant player. Well, I'm glad it was. Scott could be the manager. He's done a good job.
Exactly. So exactly.
So you can get him all in eventually. He's still young. No, I think I'm really happy for him at Fulham because I just think he just seems to be.
He's done brilliantly.
Yeah,
it's like all of us. We're trying to make a name for ourselves in the game. He took a big punt, Scotty. To be fair to him, going straight to Fulham. Obviously, done a little bit with Spurs at the under-18 level, and I thought his interview after the playoff final, was absolutely outstanding. It's pure emotion, and I think as a fan, that's what you want to hear. You want to hear what he's been through, and you can tell what he's been through in that past year in the season. Obviously, lockdown and then going back into it afterwards. And good luck to him. Good luck to him.
Yeah, because I think too often, I mean, you do a lot of media work and stuff, obviously, as well. But too often, I think when managers do the whole after game, it's all very sterile and and it's always but it was just you very rarely get emotion like that. I think that's why everyone enjoyed it, and that's why it became,
Exactly.
people put it to the streets, didn't they? They did a meme of it, and that's brilliant, and it was just right. And I just think I'm just really happy.
It's what he felt. It's what he felt at that time, and I think that's the way you've got to be. I think you've got to, obviously within reason, and say the right things, like with the right language when you're on air. But you've got to say what you feel at that time, and I think that gets you a long way. Yeah,
particularly he said whatever the world's happening at the moment, it's he's had to live that, and he's had to carry on doing that, and now he can go back and fair play.
It affects his family. People to see Scott Parker Fulham manager. Yeah. But you've also got to think about Scott Parker the man, Scott Parker the father, Scott Parker the husband, and everything else. So I thought it was a brilliant interview.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yoshi's in. God bless him. Big fan.
Yes,
right.
He is.
Okay, front three.
So the three up front. It's not a bad front three, to be fair. Although I probably wouldn't pick them in the actual positions, but I've gone for Defoe, Ashton, and Tevez.
Oh. All right, let's talk about Defoe first then.
Well, Defoe again I was talking about Michael Carrick earlier. Yeah, Carrick didn't leave in January, did he? Defoe left in January, and Carrick left the following January.
Carrick left after the Palace game.
He did. You're right.
Yeah, sorry, but it doesn't matter.
So Defoe left in January, but again, talking about Michael Carrick, similar thing to Jermaine Defoe. I've still not met a better finisher.
Really?
When I was a player, it just ridiculous. Off both feet, the sharpness of it, just his drawback of his right or left foot. It was instant. Just an unbelievable finisher, and so sharp in and around the box. His movement over 1, 2, 3, 4 yards, explosiveness was just exceptional. And you could tell, obviously, in the championship at the time, he was too good for us at that time. And he's gone on to prove that, to be fair to him. And a good lad, to be fair. He was a very, very good lad. He just wanted to better himself. And you can't grumble with that. No. But a very, very good player. In training, he was exceptional. Really good.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're obviously more of an experienced player and obviously, it was when you had a lot of young players come through. When you're watching in training, can you go, he's going to be good, or do you get a feeling of whether a player's going to make it? Particularly obviously you probably had like a lot of the youth team players training with you as well. Yeah.
It's hard. You always get a sense of players that are going to do. They can surprise you as well. Yeah. It's all down to application at the end of the day. And I think you go through all these players here, especially the best ones. And I look at Michael Carrick, I look at Mark Noble, I look at Defoe. Their application every single day was spot on. Sure. And first and foremost, that's the thing you've got to have. It's the desire to get better every single day, no matter what walk of life you're in. And that's the thing they had, especially Defoe. Defoe was just relentless in everything he did. His finishing, he'd stay out longer, and he'd do it on his own into an empty goal and put mini goals inside the posts and just make sure he's hitting those mini goals. He was just a relentless finisher that's going to be the best he could be.
Yeah. Oh well. All right. Defoe's in. Ashton. Then let's talk about Dino.
Yeah, Dino obviously curtailed his career was curtailed very early, which was for him early, which was a shame. But in those, how long was it? 18 months, 2 years, and even his time at Norwich and Crewe, what he produced, especially at West Ham, especially when he first joined. He was a complete centre forward. Let's be honest. He
was.
He could hold the ball up. He could link play. He could score any type of goal, of course, going into the box, and he could run in behind as well. And he had a turn of pace. There's not many like that anymore, and not many like that at that time either. and that ankle injury really hampered him, and eventually, obviously, he had to retire. But there's not many you can say that about. Obviously, most strikers have got their, Defoe or Teddy or whoever, have got their strengths that they play to. But for me, Dino, he could do most things, not everything. He was a complete centre forward.
Yeah, he was. And I mean, obviously, in that sort of FA Cup final, he scored and obviously the semi-final.
Beforehand as well, before the FA Cup final.
The semi-final as well. Yeah.
In the semi-final, exactly. Marlon got the goal, but Dino was instrumental.
Yeah.
Just a brilliant footballer.
Yeah, he was. And you're right. He was the complete forward. He was. I remember when he signed from Norwich, and I think it's about 7 million, something like that, which was a fair whack. I was just so excited, and I remember him coming onto the pitch. It was like an evening game. He came on, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I thought that was it. I thought it was him. It was going to be it, because he was like the final piece. We'd always not had a striker since Cottee and McAvenny or Hartson really, but it was like I thought he was going to be it. But unfortunately, injuries. Right, and then our last position, Carlitos Tevez. What can you say about Carlitos?
Exactly. Do you know what? I didn't even mention Mascherano in that midfield either, even though he didn't play games for West Ham. He was an absolute joke in training. How he didn't get into West Ham, I do not know, but that's probably a story for another day. Carlos, for those last 3 or 4 months when we stayed up, and obviously that ultimate game at Old Trafford where he scored the winner, was an exceptional talent. And heard other people talk about him since then. He went to Man City, Man United, etc., where he was a brilliant trainer, exceptional trainer, etc. When he first went to West Ham, he wasn't. This is what I saw. He struggled to adapt, and I think that's why it took him a little bit of time to get to where he got to eventually. But pure ability-wise, like Mascherano, he was exceptional. And he'd do little things in training. He wouldn't do it often enough, and he'd train poorly, but he still do it. And those 3 months where we ended up staying up, he, alongside others like Bobby Zamora, etc., and other players,
of course,
was exceptional. He was.
I mean, we touched on it very briefly. What was it like as a player turning up at Chadwell Reef and you've got these 2 Argentinian internationals in your team? What?
Strange, yeah, very strange. I remember seeing on Sky Sports News, and I can see parts with them outside the tunnel at the bowling, with shirts and all that, and we're thinking, what's going on here? Obviously, they were still well known and Argentinian internationals, and it was a strange feeling, but you've got to embrace it as a player, haven't you? Carlos Mascherano embraced it straight away, wanted to learn the language. Carlos was a little bit more timid and wasn't too sure, and had an interpreter with him all the way, and in training, in the changing rooms, at the canteen, and match days, etc. But he did what he did, and that's why West Ham will always think of him, really fondly.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, and he is. He just said, and I'm surprised you didn't put yourself in, Matty. I'll be honest.
Oh no, of course not. How can I put myself in with those players there?
I'm not being funny. Yeah, but I'm not being funny. 200. You had 195. You could have got your appearances up to 196. You could have got them in. But
I'd never do that.
Matty, man, it's been absolutely lovely. I really appreciate your time, and obviously, spending an hour or so with us chatting about West Ham. It's absolutely brilliant, man. So thank you very much.
Mate. Absolute pleasure, no problem.
Thank you so much, Matty. It's been a pleasure. I'll let you go. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Take care, and we'll see you again very soon.
Cheers,
see you at London Stadium. Take care. Cheers, Matty. Bye bye. Well, that was Matty Etherington. So we've had the stars of West Ham YouTube, so to speak, of Ryan, Charlie, and Anton. We had the stars of that sort of 2004-06 period where we were at Cardiff 3 years running, and now we're going to do the raffle in a minute. Our current total is £9,501. There we go. I didn't donate the pound, I must be honest. someone must have not spent £1 in the Marks and Spencer's car park or something, or found it around the bottom of their sofa. But look, £9,500 is absolutely incredible, and £1 obviously. Obviously, you can carry on donating after, obviously, to the Irons Supporting Foodbanks Just Giving site. All the work they do is fantastic. But as I said, been very, very fortunate to get some fantastic raffle prizes, and I've got the raffle thing now. For those of you watching Nigel's, listen to more than just a podcast with Nigel the other day, and Stell and Canning Town Lem. They took the piss out of my physique a little bit, so I'll give it as good as I got. I'm not sort of I'm not a bad man. I don't suffer fools gladly. So just for Canning Town Len's enjoyment more than anything, I've decided to use one of my Chinese takeaway pots as the thing with all the raffle tickets in. So there we go. At least I'm making it in Canning Town Len laugh, who I actually got to meet today. Which obviously, he had a big cartoon cut out on his face, so I didn't really know what he looked like, but it was nice to meet him. So and obviously he's been kind enough to donate some gifts and stuff already. So obviously no one knows their numbers on the on the raffle, so but this is genuine. I've got them all here. As Stell says, Stell's obviously communicating from Irons United today, so it was nothing to do. Do you know what, Stell? You were very, very. Yeah, it's just Nigel. Although as Nigel said, I'm his best customer. Nigel Khan delivers his pie and mash and bagels to me, and you're not even funny, You don't bite the hand that feeds you, whatever it's called. But no, it's all right. Yeah. We'll have a giggle, can't fucking hell. And even Nigel's been kind enough to give us some gifts. Now, what I'm going to do is just pause for just literally 10 seconds, just so I can get everything ready for the raffle. I believe I've actually got a glamour. Actually, we're just going to carry on now. I've got a glamorous assistant now who's going to help me. She stayed up all night to join us. For those of you who follow the My Hammers 11, she is. It's my daughter Flo, whose head is obscured with a snowball mic. So let me move that. I'll talk a bit louder. Flo is going to help us. I think that's probably Nigel. I did invite you, Nigel. There we go. And it's true. That's because I was insulted, Nigel. I'm not joking. Friend of the channel. And so Flo's going to help me do the raffle, because obviously, out of the voice of babes, I can't. You might think I might pull fast, but obviously she's only 8. Although the old stand up 20% claret weekend did me go. So so Flo is joining us. I should have swapped. 20%. Yes, the weekend weren't too bad. I got my birthday present as well, despite it's not in September. So there we go, the away shirt as well. So my wife made a saving as well as me. Right, okay. So we've got loads and loads of fantastic prizes. So I'm going to try and put them up as we go along, so everyone can see. And we'll try our best. Obviously, I haven't got anyone's name or number, so I've got, obviously anyone who left an anonymous name obviously isn't included, but everyone else would be. So we'll be contacting you, or we'll be reaching out via Facebook and Twitter to find who you are. You've even got a fan, Flo. Good old Marie. And there we go. Maybe Flo should do a Hammers 11, although it'll all be Dimitri Payet, because that's the only player she remembered. Will it? Yeah. Right, okay, so let's crack on. Let's go for the raffle. So I'm going to get the first prize. Let's just get ourselves ready, he says. There we go. First prize is a blank screen. No, it's very good. The first prize is Jameson Scott. You've missed the raffle. We've been doing it all day, so it's people donate to the channel. But don't worry, this will be the first of many charity events for the Irons Supporting Foodbanks, so don't worry if you miss out this one. So the first prize is being supplied by the lovely guys at West Ham Fan TV, who have donated a goodie bag, a goodie box, if you will, which includes a hoodie and t-shirt of your choice from their selection, and one of their lovely glasses they have on and their pint glasses they have. So Let's go, Flo. Let's go, Flo. You see, it rhymes. I don't know why you're covering your eyes. They're all. So the first ticket goes to a man who has spent a lot of time in hospital. Bless him. He had a horrible heart attack or a cardiac arrest. He lives in Texas. Adam Frankel. So from the American Hammers Network, Adam, congratulations. We'll be sorting all these out later, so don't worry. So Adam's one. I think Adam donated like £100, so he could well appear in this selection again. So well done, Ad. Really glad you're on the mend as well, man. Right, next one is a mystery box. It's a mystery box. Oh, we're excited, Flo. Friend of the channel, bagel delivery and pie and mash man, Nigel Khan. He's going to provide a mystery box with someone who's got a fantastic collection of artifacts. It's not that old, but loads of like mugs and stuff from West Ham through the ages. And he's kindly going to put together a little box and donate that. So let's go, Flo. Okay, top one, and we have got Barry Abrahams. I believe that might be Ganshill Hammer. So congratulations. And we'll be getting in touch with you and sorting that out. And you'll have Nigel's lovely mystery box. Don't touch that. That's the microphone. Right. Okay. Next we've got the first of a few pieces of artwork which have been kindly donated by Steve Krieger and Canning Town Len. The first one is although it's a DeCanio art print, it's an A3 print. You can actually have any of the art prints on there, so there's actually a couple of these to be won. So sorry, Stel, Nigel didn't win his own box. It would have saved him on the postage and packaging now, I suppose. Right, so for the DeCanio art prints, the tension is mounting as Flo tries to decide. Okay, it is going to one of the Scandinavian hammers who's kindly donated a lot of money. Stig. It's gone to Stig. So congratulations, Stig. There's loads of really cool prints on there. Antonio's and there's a Bobby Moore print and stuff like that. Do you just want to let the dog out? Thank you. Otherwise he's going to carry on scratching. Right, so we've got another chance to win another print from Steve. We've put the John Lyle Gates print. It's a really cool print, but you might want to choose something else. Free delivery to Ganshill. Good old Nige. Okay, and this goes to a guy we've had on the channel. A lovely guy, big friend of the channel. It's Mark Sandell. So congratulations, Mark. That is going to be winning its way to you. We'll be sending obviously the links and stuff so you can be able to put those things through. Right, the next one is a customised print from Steve Krieger. Let me just show you what I mean by customised print. Let me go back onto my thing. Steve's done one of these for me, and it's absolutely mental. By customised prints, it's basically he does a few different things on there, but he's got he did a Sabutio player one with Ben Shepherd. He can do like a family one in Sabutio's or Hammers 11. So any one of these things, any one of these personalised items, Steve will do for you. He'll give you a code so you can set it all up yourself, and he'll get that all framed and sent out nice to you. Thank you, my glamorous assistant there. So very good. Right, so it's a customised item from Steve Krieger. We have Chris M. I believe that's Chris Miles. So congratulations, Chris Miles. Again, one of the trans Pennine Hammers. Well done, mates. He'll probably be watching. If not, all the Upton Park Life guys are on here. And again, many thanks to them guys. They're absolutely fantastic, and they donated some fantastic prizes coming up very, very shortly. Next, just wait. Just get excited now doing these raffle tickets. A little bit of power in it. A little bit of power somehow, and they take over. Right, the next item is, he says, when he waits for his things to click, the next item is, he says, here we go, is a really, really cool print. And this was hand delivered by the man himself. So I'm just going to go and show you now, because a picture wouldn't do. I've got it, don't worry. Oh, jeez. This is from Mr. Canning Town Len, who drives a very, very nice car. This is a one-of-a-kind original artwork from the Canning Town Len Studios. No other copies of this artwork have or will be produced or released. I'm just reading what he's put in the back. Will be produced or released. The content of the artwork illustrates a scene from Everyone's Seen It, Everyone's Second Team, on which you can watch on Amazon Prime, which was released November last year. And yeah, it's signed by Len. And obviously you've got Lyle, Billy, Trevor. I believe this was scene 002 when David Cross arrives at Chadwell Heath in what was 1977 in December. So a really cool piece of artwork, one of a kind. So it's we'll see who this one goes to. I'm actually going to do it myself because Flo's doing like them, and it goes to very good friend of the channel, lovely bloke. 20 years he's worked at the club. 20 years, and I'm really glad this piece has gone to him because he's a lovely guy. James Datson. For those of you who don't know who James Datson is, James looks like me. He's got I had a massive beard like him once, but he is the commentator for all the blind fans. He has about 80 or 90 something like blind fans who obviously attend the game, and so he does the commentary. And if you watched Iron Men, the film, you'll see him and his brother on there. Really, and a lovely guy. Great Hammers 11 episode to see. So that's fantastic, everyone. So I'm really happy for James. Right, let's go back to the thing we do. No, we won't do that. Let's do this one. Oh, let's do that one. Let's do that one because then you can see me more, and that's why people want to look at it. Right, okay. So there we go. Next one. Again, big thank you to the Upton Park Life Facebook group. Marie and Jackie and Colin and Chris and Hunt, Gary, and there's loads of you. Then I'm really pleased that James won that too. And if you ever fancy lending me your car, honestly, I was shocked. I was doing an interview and this lovely car turned up. Right, and so this is a this is a real really cool one provided by the Upton Park Life guys. And it's a signed Juventus ticket stub, all framed and stuff, signed by Sir Trevor Brooke. And obviously Juventus was the official first game at West Ham, obviously not the first game, that being the European games, but the founders game, or whatever we called it. So a really nice piece of thing, and that goes to Ash Bundia, apologies if I pronounce your name wrong, Ash, but congratulations. You donated like 50-60 quid, I think, so that's absolutely brilliant. So I'm really glad you won that as well. Okay, next one we have another one provided by the Upton Park Life, all like Marie and that lot. Fantastic. Again, thank you for your support. This one is, so that was the beginning of the Upton Park of London Stadium. Now this one comes to the end of Upton Park, and a team sheet from the Swansea game. Obviously that was our last Saturday game at Upton Park, signed by, you've got obviously Phil's dad, you've got Marie's dad Phil, you've got Bonzo, you've got Gailey on there, Macca, Dev, Alan McKnight, loads of others on there as well. Really, again, framed as well. Really cool. And that goes to ticket number. Okay. Thank you, Flo. That goes to Adam again. He spent 100 quid and he's got 2 bits. So, fair play to him. So well done, Ad. I think if you win again, I might put it back in just because give everyone else a shot. But Adam, legend. There you go. You won 2 bits, mate. We may have to wait till you come over before we send it to America. You might have to bring it back in your luggage when you come back, when everyone gets back in. But here we go. Right, next one. Okay, what we got next? Next, we have a lovely signed photo of Mr. Declan Rice. This was his first goal against Arsenal, signed by Dec, and also by Nasri, I imagine as well. I think I can just make out there. So really nice piece of memorabilia, really. And it goes to, thank you very much. Just get so excited. It's like Christmas. Graham Watts. Friend of the channel, Graham Watts. There we go. A lovely signed picture of Dec coming your way, mate. And I've noticed you on the comments, so you'll be watching. So you've won. Well done. You were very late in putting your money in, but See, always check. Right, next one. Okay, next one we have some signed Declan Rice boots. Okay, give it some. So we have a Declan Rice boot. We also have an England debut programme and print as well. And this goes to, and so it's a lovely little bit, you know. Obviously, you've got Deck's boot and all the other bits and bobs and stuff. And this goes to I can't remember it. WHU Alfie. WHU Alfie. So congratulations, Alfie. We'll get the guys. That's been supplied by the lovely guys, by Baz and Frankie from Claret and Blue Army TV. So thank you so much, guys. That's going to Alfie, WHU Alfie. So well done, mate. Good to see you, and thanks for donating. So okay, next, I think we're coming to the next few. I think we've got a couple of things left. Now, good one. Yeah, it's not my shirt, don't worry. Make a fucking tent in my shirt, to be honest. Right, so this one we have a signed shirt by Mr. Pablo Fornals. This has been supplied by the club, so that'll be with us very, very soon. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Brilliant. And so there we go. It goes to Mr. I'm glad. This is a good one. Jackie Hughes, it goes to. Jackie Hughes. Well done, Jackie. One of the Upton Park Life. Congratulations, Jackie. We'll get that sent out to you. Again, thank you so much for all your support from the Upton Park Life, guys. I know you support Newham Foodbanks as well as donating some fantastic prizes. And the last one, I think, is probably the best one we've got, to be honest. It is a signed shirt from the last season at Upton Park, signed by most members of the squad and Slav and people like that, been supplied by Colin from Upton Park Life again. So again, thank you so much for this, Colin. And so Flo is going to get one right at the bottom. Let's get a bit of drama. Yeah, of course you can pick. Let's give it a drama. So yeah, well done, Alf. Yeah, Alfie, well done, son. Right, here we go. And obviously, so, you know, this is the last one. So we'll see who we get. Yeah, get right at the bottom. Right, okay. I'm going to tell you this around just to prove it. It's not me, by the way. Bloody Stell for Mines United. Congratulations, Stell. So yeah, brilliant. So that will be winning its way to you, Stell. So congratulations, well done, mate. And again, Irons United been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for the plugs and everything as well. It's been brilliant. Yes, so fantastic. Thank you very, very much, guys. What can I say? I can say obviously thank you. Thank you everyone for lots of love for Stell winning. But fair enough. Guys, thank you so much. It wasn't a fix, Nigel. That's why I proved it. We've still got my little. There's plenty more. If you fancy donating some more stuff, we could have done it, Nigel, but you'll end up probably winning it, knowing you. And it was a Chinese takeaway pot, just to keep Len happy. Guys, thank you so much for your for obviously watching. It's been over 2 hours, so I appreciate you staying on. It's been absolutely brilliant. As I said, we've raised $9.5 grand is absolutely phenomenal amount of money. Obviously, you can carry on donating to the Just Giving crowdfunding / Iron supporting food banks. And I know John's mentioned. I'm just going to put John's note up because it's nice to see. Pardon me. And there's nothing really more you can say that. Obviously all the work the guys do is fantastic. Particularly in the situation now where we're in, and you've got. Well done, James, by the way. I've just seen you pop up. Well done, James. Congratulations. You won. Really happy you won that thing. And obviously, they donate so much money. They do so much work. And also, you've got, a lot of their work their collections were done during matches. Obviously, because of COVID, we haven't been able to play anywhere. So, they really needed a help. So, this money be spent and they'll be able to improve what they're doing and offer better services to people, and also, if anything, just highlight what they do to a wider community. So really, really thank you. As John says, everyone for the donations, thank you so much, and on behalf of everyone, great effort, well done, guys. Really, really appreciate everyone's time. Obviously, carry on donating. This is going to be the first of many charity things we do collectively as a West Ham YouTube community. We're all going to be working, particularly coming up to Christmas, on stuff as well. So it's given a really good opportunity to bring everyone together. So we've had lots of 4 or 5 different West Ham YouTube groups together, and it's really, really nice to do something together. So thanks very, very much for your time. Obviously, thank you to Matty. That was awesome. That was amazing talking to Matty. All this is going to be available on YouTube, so you can go back and watch the 2 hours again if you're really that bored. And obviously, all thanks to Anton and to Ryan and to Charlie on the My Hammers 11 Does Pointless. It was really good fun. Until next time, everyone, take care. Stay safe, everyone. Now, you don't know, if you've never done this before, take care, stay safe, come on, you irons. Good girl, that's it. And I've got to have to practice with her, bless her. And until next time, guys, take care, everyone, stay safe, and we'll see you again very, very soon. We'll also be posting at the Brentford game as well, because I'm going to that game as well, so you'll see a few videos on that. We've got some great videos going. If you're new to the channel, or Irons United, my West Ham fan, or West Ham Fan TV, or Hammers Chat, or My Hammers 11, give us a subscribe, have a try, see if you like it, and until next time, guys, take care, everyone, stay safe, we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, bye-bye. Nice wave. See ya, bye-bye.